You ever hear one courtroom whisper and realize it might have just changed the fate of a whole case? Because what allegedly happened involving Brian Steele has the internet in complete meltdown. Sources close to the courthouse are claiming a routine exchange, something so small nobody was supposed to notice, may have turned into the most fatal mistake of Lil Durk's legal battle. And if what insiders are saying is true, Brian Steele may have accidentally exposed a piece of the defense strategy right in front of federal eyes. Now pause and think about that. We're talking about a high-stakes trial, cameras watching every move, prosecutors studying body language, fans dissecting every courtroom sketch. And somehow, during a tense behind-the-scenes moment, one comment, one document, one alleged slip may have revealed what Durk's team was planning before they were ready to play their hand. And here's where it gets wild. People are saying it started when Steele was seen reacting to a sealed argument, leaning toward co-counsel, allegedly saying something he thought nobody else could hear. But according to courtroom rumors, somebody did hear it, and not just anybody, the prosecution. Now fans are shocked, legal analysts are divided, and social media is asking one terrifying question. Did Brian Steele just accidentally hand the government the blueprint to Lil Durk's defense? Because moments after this alleged mistake, insiders claim prosecutors shifted their tone. Questions changed, their energy changed. Even the judge reportedly noticed tension in the room. And then a sudden closed-door conference. No explanation, no cameras, no transcripts released, just silence. That's when people started connecting dots. Some believe Steele may have exposed a witness strategy. Others think he may have revealed a move involving cooperation, suppressed evidence, or a last-minute trial bombshell meant to flip the entire case. But what has everybody losing their minds is the theory that this wasn't just a mistake. Some are asking, was Brian Steele set up? Was someone baiting him? Or did one accidental exposure just put Lil Durk's freedom in serious danger? Because if this courtroom leak is real, then what happened next could trigger betrayals, panic inside the defense camp, and a chain reaction nobody saw coming. And trust me, by the time you hear what allegedly happened after Durk found out, you might look at this entire trial completely differently. The tension inside the courtroom didn't start with a dramatic outburst or a judge slamming a gavel. It started with a look. According to whispers circulating among reporters and courthouse insiders, Brian Steele appeared unusually unsettled during a routine exchange that should have passed without attention. At first, nobody thought much of it. Attorneys lean in, pass notes, whisper strategy all the time, but this felt different. Witnesses allegedly noticed Steele glance toward Lil Durk, then toward the prosecution table, before pulling a folder closer to his chest as if something had just gone wrong. And that was the moment, some say, the atmosphere shifted. Emotions ran high, as though nobody in the public gallery fully understood why. Fans are shocked now looking back, because what seemed like a minor legal moment may have been the first crack in a carefully built defense. Sources claim the trouble began during an off-record sidebar involving disputed evidence. Prosecutors had reportedly been pressing hard on a timeline inconsistency, while Steele was believed to be preparing a surprise response that could undermine a key witness. But then came the alleged mistake. One insider claimed Steele, while speaking urgently to co-counsel, referenced a witness challenge strategy loud enough for someone nearby to catch fragments. Not the full plan, just enough. Enough, allegedly, for prosecutors to start putting pieces together. Wait, one observer claimed a government attorney whispered, leaning back in sudden realization, that's what they're doing. If that happened, it wasn't just a slip, it was potentially a preview of the defense's next move. And in a case this serious, previews can be deadly. What happened next only fueled suspicion. Prosecutors, who had been aggressive but predictable, allegedly changed tactics almost immediately. Their questions reportedly sharpened. Their focus narrowed. They began circling topics they had barely touched earlier. Legal watchers noticed it. Courtroom reporters noticed it. Even some fans following every update online started posting theories that something behind the scenes had triggered a strategic shift. Why did the government suddenly seem ready for everything? One viral post asked. Another said, something got leaked in that courtroom. Watch. And suddenly, what began as rumor turned into a storm. Fans are shocked because the idea that a defense strategy could be exposed in real time feels almost unbelievable, but the speculation kept growing. Then came the moment that allegedly sent panic through the defense camp. During a recess, Lil Durk was reportedly seen in intense conversation with Steele. No smiles, no calm demeanor, just visible tension. One courthouse source claimed Durk leaned forward and asked in a low voice, "Tell me they didn't hear that." Another alleged Steele responded, "I'm handling it." If true, those words alone would be enough to set social media on fire, because now this wasn't just about legal theory, this was personal, this was trust, and in high-pressure cases, trust can unravel fast. The family was left divided according to rumor, with some supporters believing Steele remained in control, while others feared the damage had already been done. But the real twist came when a closed-door conference was called with almost no warning. The judge cleared the room, lawyers disappeared into chambers, proceedings paused, and for nearly an hour, nobody knew what was happening. That silence became gasoline on the fire. Some believed prosecutors had raised concerns about privileged disclosures. Others claimed the defense was scrambling to contain fallout. A more explosive theory began spreading that Steele was trying to revise a strategy the government had just anticipated. And once that theory hit the internet, the drama exploded. Commentators began asking whether this was a simple human error or something more calculated. Was someone listening for a mistake? Was the defense being pressured from multiple directions? Or was this the beginning of internal fractures no one outside the courtroom was supposed to see? And then came the reaction from outside. Friends, supporters, and fans reportedly began questioning everything. Some defended Steele, saying one overheard phrase could never compromise an entire defense. Others weren't so sure. One sentence can sink a case, a viral commentator warned. Emotions ran high as online debates turned into accusations. Some claimed prosecutors had exploited a harmless moment. Others accused the defense of showing signs of panic. And through it all, Lil Durk remained at the center of a storm, growing louder by the hour. Because if the rumors were true, this wasn't just about a courtroom mistake anymore. It was about whether one accidental exposure had triggered a chain reaction that could change the outcome of the trial forever. And what nobody knew yet was that an even more explosive confrontation may have happened after court adjourned. By the time court adjourned, the rumors had grown far beyond a whispered mistake. What happened after the cameras were gone is where the story took a darker turn. According to courthouse chatter, tensions followed the defense team into a private holding area where voices were allegedly raised behind closed doors. One source claimed Lil Durk was furious, demanding answers about whether prosecutors had gained insight into the defense plan. "How does this happen at this stage?" he allegedly asked, pacing as members of the legal team tried to calm the room. Another insider claimed Brian Steele stood firm, insisting nothing critical had been exposed. But the damage may not have been about what prosecutors heard. It may have been about what the defense believed they heard. And sometimes, in high-pressure trials, fear can create chaos even faster than facts. Then came the accusation nobody saw coming. A rumor began circulating that someone inside the broader defense circle had warned Steele days earlier to be careful discussing strategy in open proximity to court personnel. If true, that would mean the alleged slip was not just a mistake, but a warning ignored. Fans are shocked because this turned the narrative from accident to possible negligence. Social media exploded with theories. Was Steele too confident? Was the team fractured long before this moment? Or had internal disagreements over strategy already created the pressure that led to the alleged exposure? Emotions ran high as every new theory fed the next. Even supporters who once projected total confidence started questioning whether something deeper was unfolding. And then the prosecution made a move that sent more alarms through the courtroom the next morning. According to observers, government attorneys returned with a noticeably different posture, more aggressive, more prepared, more focused on a witness issue many believed connected directly to the rumored defense strategy. One legal watcher reportedly whispered, "They're attacking the very thing Steele was supposed to spring later." That comment spread fast, because if prosecutors were now targeting a defense angle before it was formally introduced, people began wondering whether they had indeed gotten ahead of it. The family was left divided in the court of public opinion. Some argued this was coincidence. Others believed it was proof the alleged mistake had changed the chessboard. Then came another twist nobody expected. A courthouse employee allegedly claimed there was confusion over a document briefly visible during the earlier exchange, possibly containing annotations tied to witness credibility. Now the story was getting even messier. Was it something Steele said, or something someone saw, or both? Suddenly there were multiple theories competing at once, each more dramatic than the last. One commentator claimed, "This is bigger than a slip. This could be a courtroom breach." Another argued the defense was now scrambling to determine what exactly had been compromised. Your fans are shocked because every version of the story raised a different terrifying possibility. And the more unclear it became, the more believable it felt to people watching from the outside. But what really pushed the drama into overdrive was a reported late-night meeting involving members members of Durk's inner circle. According to speculation, close associates were questioning whether the legal strategy needed to be completely reworked. Imagine that, a defense team potentially reconsidering its entire roadmap in the middle of a major trial. One source even alleged somebody said, if they know where we're going, we have to change direction now. If true, that would mean the alleged mistake triggered not just panic, but a possible internal reset, and those kinds of emergency shifts can create even more vulnerability. Because when strategy changes under pressure, mistakes can multiply. Then came whispers of betrayal. Some began suggesting not everyone on the defense side agreed on how to respond. One rumor claimed a heated disagreement broke out over whether to confront the issue openly before the judge or quietly adapt and move forward. Another claimed someone felt Steele should have disclosed concerns immediately, while others believed doing so would only confirm prosecutors had gained an advantage. The conflict, whether real or exaggerated, fed the drama. Emotions ran high, fans are shocked, and the family was left divided, with some supporters blaming the pressure of the case, while others began questioning whether loyalty inside the defense camp was starting to crack. But just when it seemed the story could not get more explosive, a new theory surfaced that turned everything upside down. What if the alleged exposure was not the real story at all? What if, some speculated, the defense intentionally allowed prosecutors to think they had uncovered the strategy, creating a false trail designed to lure them into overcommitting to the wrong attack? Suddenly the narrative flipped from fatal mistake to possible mind game, and that possibility sent comment sections into total war. Was Brian Steele unraveling under pressure, or playing a move so risky nobody recognized it yet? That question changed everything, because if this was misdirection, then every panic-filled rumor may have been hiding a deeper play. But if it was not, then the defense could be facing consequences no one is ready to admit. And just as those questions started swirling, once insiders began whispering about a witness connected to the case who was now allegedly reconsidering prior statements after sensing instability in the courtroom. If that rumor is true, then the alleged mistake may have triggered something far bigger than strategy exposure. It may have started a chain reaction involving witnesses, trust, and the future of the entire case. And that is where the story takes an even more dangerous turn. Just when people thought the alleged strategy exposure was the biggest threat facing the defense, the witness rumors changed everything. According to growing speculation, a key figure tied to the case began showing signs of hesitation after sensing the sudden tension surrounding the defense. That alone sent shockwaves through legal circles. Because if a witness starts doubting the stability of the team calling them, the consequences can be devastating. One insider claimed word spread that the witness was questioning whether to stick with earlier understandings or distance themselves completely. And if that happened, what started as one alleged courtroom mistake may have triggered a domino effect nobody saw coming. Fans are shocked because this was no longer just about legal strategy. This was about whether the foundation of the defense itself was beginning to shake. Then came what some called the confrontation that nearly broke the room. During another tense recess, rumors surfaced that Brian Steele pushed back hard against criticism coming from within the defense orbit. One source alleged he said, "You're reacting to noise, not facts." But another claimed someone fired back, noise doesn't force prosecutors to pivot overnight. If those words were really exchanged, it paints a picture of pressure boiling over behind the scenes. Emotions ran high, and the family was left divided, not only among fans, but among those allegedly closest to the case. Some believe Steele was being unfairly blamed for ordinary courtroom developments. Others believe the team was refusing to admit a serious problem. And once doubt enters a defense strategy, even small decisions start carrying enormous weight. But the biggest twist came when courtroom observers claimed the judge began showing unusual interest in procedural details tied to witness handling. That raised immediate questions. Was the court sensing instability? Was there concern over how the case was unfolding beneath the surface? Nobody knew for sure. But every raised eyebrow became a theory. One commentator went viral saying, "When the judge starts watching the mechanics this closely, something is happening." And that statement lit up the internet. Fans are shocked because now even ordinary courtroom management was being interpreted as possible fallout from the alleged mistake. Every glance, every pause, every scheduling adjustment became fuel for speculation. Then an even more explosive rumor surfaced. Some began claiming prosecutors were considering using the confusion itself to pressure witnesses. Think about that. Not using evidence, not using testimony, using perceived instability inside the defense as leverage. Whether true or not, the theory spread like wildfire. One alleged source claimed a witness was told, "You may want to reconsider who's protecting your interests. If that happened, the implications would be enormous, because now the alleged mistake was not just exposing strategy, it may have created an opening for psychological pressure, and in high-profile trials, perception can become its own weapon. Meanwhile, supporters close to Lil Durk were reportedly reacting emotionally to the growing storm. Some were said to be urging calm, insisting the defense had weathered pressure before. Others allegedly feared the case was entering dangerous territory. Social media turned into a battlefield. Some called Brian Steele a master strategist being misunderstood. Others accused him of losing control at the worst possible moment. The family was left divided in every sense, as even longtime supporters debated whether Durk needed reassurance or radical adjustments. Fans are shocked because what began as courtroom rumor had become a full-blown crisis narrative, with nobody certain where truth ended and speculation began. And then came the moment that changed the conversation yet again. A theory emerged that the witness hesitation might not have been caused by the alleged exposure at all. Some believe the witness may have already been under pressure from another direction, and the courtroom drama simply revealed cracks that were there all along. If true, then Brian Steele may have been blamed for triggering something he did not cause. Suddenly, the villain narrative started collapsing. Was he responsible? Or was he becoming the scapegoat for a deeper problem nobody wanted to confront? Oh, and that question divided audiences even more, because the more layers emerged, the less simple the story became. Then whispers surfaced about a sealed filing. No confirmation, no public details, just rumors that something submitted quietly to the court could reshape how people understand everything that happened. Some claimed it related to witness concerns, others believed it addressed prosecutorial conduct, and the wildest theory of all suggested it might contain proof the defense had anticipated this entire controversy and built a response in advance. If that were true, then what looked like panic may have been preparation, what looked like exposure may have been bait, and what looked like a fatal mistake may have been something far more complicated. But before anyone could make sense of those theories, one final rumor pushed the drama to another level. A source allegedly claimed Lil Durk himself had begun asking whether someone around the case could be feeding information from inside. And the second that allegation surfaced, everything changed. Because now this was not just about a courtroom slip, witness pressure, or strategic confusion. Now people were whispering about infiltration, about betrayal, about whether the real danger was never what Brian Steele allegedly exposed, but who may have been waiting to exploit it. And if even a fraction of that is true, then the next development in this case could be more explosive than anything anyone has seen so far. The moment rumors of possible internal leaks surfaced, the entire story took on a far more dangerous edge, because a courtroom mistake is one thing, but suspicion of someone feeding information from inside the circle, that is the kind of allegation that can shatter trust overnight. According to speculation spreading among legal watchers, Lil Durk was no longer only focused on what prosecutors may have overheard. The bigger question had become whether somebody already knew too much before the alleged exposure ever happened. One insider claimed people close to the case started quietly reviewing who had access to sensitive strategy conversations. Another alleged someone asked, what if the mistake only revealed a problem that was already there? Fans are shocked because this shifted the story from legal drama into possible betrayal at the highest level. Then came the rumor that sent social media into chaos. Word began circulating that a member of the extended defense orbit had allegedly been confronted over inconsistent statements about who knew what and when. No names were confirmed, no evidence made public, but that did not stop the internet from exploding with theories. Was someone talking too much outside privileged meetings? Was information moving through channels nobody suspected? Or was paranoia inside a high-pressure trial causing innocent misunderstandings to look sinister? Emotions ran high because every possibility carried massive consequences. If the suspicion was false, the defense risked turning on itself. If it was true, the damage could reach far beyond one courtroom exchange. And then came what some described as the most chilling twist yet. According to rumor, Brian Steele allegedly pushed back against leak theories, warning that chasing ghosts could destroy the team faster than any prosecutor ever could. One source claimed he said, "If we start accusing each other, they win." That line spread fast because even people skeptical of the rumors saw truth in it, but others reportedly were not convinced. One alleged response from within the broader circle was even harsher. Maybe they're already winning. If those words were spoken, they reveal a level of internal fear that could be just as dangerous as any legal threat. The family was left divided again, with some seeing Steele as the only steady hand in chaos, while others questioned whether he had lost control of the room. Meanwhile, courtroom developments only made things more suspicious. Observers claim prosecutors seemed unusually confident during a tense exchange over witness credibility, almost as if they expected the defense response before it came. That perception, whether accurate or not, fueled even more speculation that information had traveled where it should not have. Fans are shocked because once people start believing the other side is anticipating your moves, every ordinary courtroom success by prosecutors starts looking sinister. A routine objection becomes a signal. A sharp question becomes proof of inside knowledge. The line between fact and fear grows dangerously thin. Then another bombshell theory dropped. Some began suggesting the alleged leak may not have come from a person at all, but from digital vulnerabilities. Discussions emerged online about whether notes, messages, or shared files tied to strategy could have been mishandled electronically. Or suddenly the drama expanded beyond whispered conversations and courtroom slips into the possibility of technological exposure. Was sensitive material accessed improperly? Was security taken for granted? Or was this just another wild theory feeding a growing storm? No one knew. But once digital compromise entered the conversation, the stakes escalated again. Because if information moved through more than one channel, then the alleged fatal mistake may have been only the visible tip of something much larger. At the same time, whispers about the sealed filing grew louder. Some claimed it was tied directly to concerns over confidentiality. Others believed it contained a request related to witness protection from outside pressure. And then came the theory that changed everything once more. What if the filing was not defensive at all? But offensive? What if the defense had quietly raised concerns about prosecutorial overreach, and the chaos everyone interpreted as panic was actually cover for a much bigger challenge being prepared behind the scenes? Fans are shocked because that possibility turned the entire narrative upside down. Was the defense collapsing? Or laying a trap? But before anyone could settle on a theory, a new confrontation was rumored to have erupted involving people close to Durk outside the legal team. According to speculation, frustration spilled beyond attorneys and into the artist's inner circle, where some allegedly demanded answers about whether too much trust had been placed in too few people. One source claimed someone shouted, "We should have seen this coming." Another claimed others defended Steele fiercely, insisting he was being blamed for a crisis fueled by rumor. Emotions ran high. The family was left divided, and what began as courtroom drama now looked like a widening fracture touching everyone around the case. Then came the moment that may have changed the stakes completely. A rumor emerged that someone connected to the prosecution's side had allegedly reacted strongly to talk of leak accusations, suggesting those claims were dangerous and false. That response, whether real or exaggerated, only deepened the mystery, because if prosecutors felt the need to respond, was it because the rumors were baseless, or because something sensitive was being touched? That question sent comment sections into absolute war. And just when people thought the story could not go further, whispers surfaced that a surprise witness development may be looming. One tied not to the original case narrative, but to everything that happened after Brian Steele's alleged mistake. If true, the next courtroom appearance may not focus on what was exposed, but on who knew about it, who acted on it, and whether the biggest betrayal in this entire saga is only now beginning to surface. So now the question is bigger than whether Brian Steele made a fatal mistake. The real question is what actually happened behind the scenes after that alleged courtroom slip. Was the defense strategy truly exposed? Did prosecutors gain an advantage? Was there internal betrayal inside Lil Durk's circle? Or was this whole thing a master level misdirection that fooled everybody watching from the outside? Because the unresolved questions are what make this story even more explosive. What was really discussed in that closed door conference? What is inside that rumored sealed filing? Why were there whispers of witness instability, internal conflict, and possible leaks all at the same time? And if a surprise witness development is really coming, could that change everything people think they know about this trial? Fans are shocked, emotions ran high, and the family was left divided. But the biggest twist may still be ahead. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Brian Steele accidentally exposed Lil Durk's trial strategy and put the case in danger? Or do you believe this was all part of a deeper legal chess move that prosecutors never saw coming? And what about those betrayal rumors? Do you think somebody inside the circle was feeding information, or is that just internet speculation going too far? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I already know this one is going to start a war down below. If you made it this far, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because if new developments drop in this case, you already know we're covering every twist, every accusation, and every bombshell. And trust me, if the next rumor about that surprise witness turns out to be true, this story is far from over.